hujjatullahi al-mukhlas. A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ati Allah, ati Rasul, wa ulul amri minkum. And always a reminder for myself, and abdukal ajeez, a da'if, a miskeen, a zalim, a jahal, and by the grace of Allah that I'm still in existence, that we took a path to be nothing and not to claim ourselves to be anything, and that we exist by Allah's rahmah. And a reminder for myself always that, let me play from ayatul Qur'an, that where Mawlana Shaykh is giving us that reality and that light, inshaAllah. Sadaqallahu al-Azim wa baraka Rasulul Kareem. InshaAllah from Surah Al-Yasin, Surah 36, verse 36, that Surah Al-Yasin is heart of Holy Qur'an and manzil al-Qur'an, in which Qur'an is emanating from the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad. And Surah Al-Yasin and Sayyidina Yasin means every reality flowing from the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad. And in this understanding and in this way of marifah, the importance of understanding the self, the importance of women, the importance of our reality, and what Mawlana Shaykh wants as a reminder for ourselves that Allah in this ayat al-kareem is glory be to Him. Allah stressing the importance of this ayah by saying His Subhan and putting His Subhan upon what is about to be coming from this ayah. Subhana, that glory be to Him who created all things in pairs. Now their English is incorrect. Khalaqa azwaja is not pairs of fruits, not everything Allah created with a azwaj, with a mate. Everything Allah His Subhan, that His glory be to me that I have created everything with a mate, with the azwaj, because Zawj and has deep inner reality. That which is on the earth, that which is within themselves, and that which they don't know. Fil ardi wa anfusihim, within themselves, ya'lamun, and that which they don't know yet, that's through the oceans of marifah. From that they're pulling that reality to teach us that in this season of weddings and seasons of marriage, and all around us is marriages are collapsing. And when Allah describing humans, verily you are an oppressor to yourself. And if we talk to people who are out and doing crazy things in life, they don't think that they're oppressing themselves at all. They actually, when you talk to them, they think they're having fun, and they think that they're living life to the fullest with every crazy thing that they want to do, and no inhibition, no stopping, just do what you want as much as you want. So then whom Allah is referring to, that you are an oppressor to yourself. Allah's not caring only for the physicality, because the physicality goes back to the dirt. There must be something Allah is concerned about. Divine Presence knows that this body you're going to throw to the dirt, and most likely I'm going to send the worms to eat you. What then is Allah worried about? What is He warning us about? Is that I gave to you a zawj. I gave to you, for English word is a wife, a mate. It's not really a wife but it's a mate I gave to you from your reality in heavens. The body is not your reality, the body is a vehicle in which you are using on this earth. And you're an oppressor, to that mate. And Allah giving in the ayat al-Kareem that there's a mate of dunya, there's a mate within yourself and there's a mate in paradise. And this material world thinks the soulmate is you find somebody you love and that's your soulmate. No, Allah is the haqqaiq is something completely different. So it means that we come to the turuqs to clean ourselves, to take away zulumat, and that's la ilaha anta subhanaka inni kuntum minadh dhalimin. That we have to admit in our life that if I'm on this turuq and Allah guided me to this turuq, I am Ya Rabbi your greatness and your subhan, but I am an oppressor to myself. And Allah we will give them a najat if they acknowledge they are an oppressor to themselves. So then the turuq, this is now the way of understanding that mate and the importance of women in Islam, the importance of women in spirituality, and how much Prophet put in importance upon them and the love and the respect upon them, and that your children, their paradise is under the feet of your mother. And how much it's abused now and how much it's taken advantage now, and how much people put their cultural, horrible culture upon Islam that not having anything to do with what Prophet brought. But what Prophet brought for us is that before your marriage of earth, anfusihim, the one whom with you all the time, make that marriage work. So lucky are the ones who come young into tariqah so that they can make their real marriage work. And then the turuqs begin to teach them that your physicality is the male aspect of your body. For men and women it doesn't make a difference, this is a haqqaiq. But for us to understand the zawj, mate, but you translate it to wife in Arabic is different. Zawj is a mate, it's non-denominational, has nothing to do with male and female. But for us to understand we have to speak in a language for people to have an understanding. Your body, your physicality is your Islam, it's your shield. Your Islam has to be strong, your deen has to be strong. The body has to have istiqam and firmness because it's guarding something very precious inside. It's guarding a cargo from Allah. And that's what Allah is making reference. I brought you this deen not to oppress other people but to perfect this treasure I put within you, this zawj, this mate that I have put upon you, and you're responsible to feed her, to dress her, to nourish her, to bring her true power out. That zawj's power out, the power of her soul, the power of her reality, and she will bring all azimatullah upon your being. So it means all of Islam is for the physicality, that discipline the physicality, correct the physicality, know your boundary and your limits and don't exceed upon them, don't move beyond yourself and to do anything and any harm. So Islam comes to perfect the physicality. Then the turuqs begin to teach that within you and the reality of the soul, when you discipline the physicality, that is the Islam. Now bring out the reality of your soul, which is maqam al-iman. And maqam al-iman is then the whole story of love, where Prophet clarifies for us, you have to love me more than you love yourself. So anybody wants a successful marriage, we're talking anfusihim, the one inside first. Because this will also teach counter-terrorism, counter-extremism, counter-crazyism. Because if a person goes unchecked, untrained and become a zalim to himself where his physicality is oppressing his soul, is destroying his soul, no doubt that one is overcome by shaitan and begins his zulumat upon everyone. His zulumat will move on to everyone. Hey, he's a zalim to himself, you don't think he's going to be zalim to everything? And begin to inflict harm and pain upon all of Allah's creation. So then the cure for that oppression is to train them back, fix the zulumat within ourselves. That understand your boundary and your limits, put upon your physicality a discipline. Anything without discipline becomes wild. It's a beast, the physicality is a beast, it has to be domesticated. Any wild beast, any horse, even when you love a horse and you want to go horseback riding, if it's not trained, that horse is going to kill you. If you domesticate the horse, it becomes a ride in which you can ride and you can move and accomplish what Allah wants us to accomplish. Then the discipline of the soul and the reality of the soul is muhabbat. قُلْ إِنِ كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي. Because Allah wants the greatest gift for that soul. He says, this soul is so precious. And now how Allah will begin to describe, قُلْ إِنِ كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي وَيُحِبُّكُمُ اللَّهُ. You want the greatest love for that soul, I want the highest reality for that soul. Be careful, because this world they want to love each other, and there are people who talk that, "You're my everything, you're like my God, you're my paradise." You're incorrect, and Allah will grant that person what they wanted. And that's the scary sadness of it all. Allah is great, Allah is just. You die and all your life was just about the spouse and you love the spouse as if they were everything. Then Allah will ask you, what is it that you want? You're coming, and Prophet's hadith come to purify and to clarify, you will be with whom you love. Good news and a warning. Warning, be careful who you love, because you'll be with them. All you did was condition yourself to be with that person. As soon as you pass away, Allah will grant you, be with them. Good or bad, be with them. You love them in dunya, your soul is attached to them, it doesn't know anything else. It's not all of a sudden going to reach to the grave and think it loves something else. What you've attached your soul to, of whatever craziness, insanity, whatever you can imagine you're attaching your love to, Allah will grant that love to you, be with it, and you'll be so far from the reality. And what Allah wants, Haqqa Nabi, what Allah wants for us, what Allah wants for us is the highest love. That's why only Allah come into our life and say that God's mercy is unimaginable. Be careful what you love, be careful what you're focused and what you're dedicating everything to. Dedicate that love and that heart to the highest, which its eternity and its reality is beyond imagination, and which eternally flows fountains of abundance upon you. The love of the Divine says, that heart of yours, I made no man with two hearts. That heart of yours is the house of the soul. That wife of yours inside, that Zawj and that mate of yours inside, teach her the correct love, not the love of physicality, not the love of people, but the love of the Divine. Love of the Divine. If that soul is trained to love Allah and wants nothing but Allah, and Allah will guide that soul, قُلْ إِنِ كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ. If you want my love, make your life فَتَبِعُونِي. فَتَبِعُونِي, you have to be from tabi'een and ihtiba. You give your whole life because I want your love Ya Rabbi. And Allah says, my love with Sayyidina Muhammad and he is my Habibullah. All creation looking for my love and I am looking to please my beloved Sayyidina Muhammad. All the Prophets were seeking Allah's love. Allah was sending His love to Prophet, granting, what is it that you want my Habibullah, to make you happy, to make you satisfied. I'm giving you the highest of gifts, I'm giving you my Divinely speech Holy Qur'an. Means then they come to purify and perfect that this love of yours, make it for Allah. Make that soul to understand that reality, to love and praise upon Prophet. And then Prophet comes into our life and teaches that that soul, it should love me more than it loves you, more than it loves your body, it should love me. Because the world of light, it will attach. That light will move close to Prophet and begin to attach to Prophet. And that is the opening of the reality of that azwaj. That soul is moving towards true love. It's true love in which Prophet will begin to dress it. Anfusihim is the one that should be in love with Prophet. It's from malakut and everything but the holy face will perish in malakut even. Means every reality is the dress of Sayyidina Muhammad. When Allah loves His servant, He begins to teach them the haqiqat al-Muhammadiyya. Allah doesn't teach anything about His Divinely Presence, it's la shareek. Allah's secret is for Allah. When Allah loves you, He teaches you the secret of Sayyidina Muhammad. So the reality of the inner marriage, if someone is not taking a path in which to have a perfected inner marriage and begin to struggle with all his desires or her desires, begin to perfect their character, take away zulumat and enter into the oceans of love, oceans of fragrance and perfumed love of Sayyidina Muhammad in which Prophet then comes and begins to open that ocean of that love. And where Prophet's holy hadith that Allah has made three things dear for me. Allah has made, is it tib? Perfume, tib. But tib also is from ya tayyibah, is from purity. Prophet is teaching us, Allah made three things dear for me. When you're now moving to that zawj, that mate inside you, be very careful, very sensitive with that. Allah made this very dear for me. And the opening to that reality is the atar and the fragrance, but in reality it's tib and purity. That when you safeguard its purity, its cleanliness, it's going to give you an immense fragrance. Your soul has a fragrance. If people smell your soul, they smell roses in their home, they smell sandalwood, depending upon the fragrance that wali has. When people smell fragrances in their home, these are the souls of awliya. Because Prophet's hadith is teaching that Allah made it dear for me to be pure, to be clean, and the atar and fragrance that comes from mutahhireen, be tawabin and mutahhireen. All our wudu, everything we're doing, Ya Rabbi, make us to be pure and clean. For what? Not the body. The body is going into the dirt, but the purity of the soul. Then Prophet and Allah made dear for me women. It was not physical, it had nothing to do with physical women, but the reality of this zawj that made dear for me the soul of myself, the soul of my companions. And one of the names of Sayyidina Muhammad Abu Arwah, the father of the arwah, Nur al-Anwar, Sirat al-Asrar, that every light is coming from Prophet. It cannot come from Allah to go back to Allah because Allah shareek. It comes from the ocean of Muhammadun Rasulullah and it returns to the ocean of Muhammadun Rasulullah. Made dear for me this reality of souls, keep it pure, keep it clean. Allah made it dear for me, and then its proof is then made my salah to be the coolness of my eyes. That Allah made dear for me my salah and it becomes the coolness of my eyes. If your soul is fragrance and clean, pak, and you clean it with dhikrullah, you clean it with durood al-sharif, you clean it with the istiqam and the firmness of your belief, that your belief is there to keep everything of harm away from this passenger that I'm carrying within me, because we have ghaibah. We're not the people who prostitute our women. You don't prostitute the most important one inside of you. When you let yourself open for everything, Allah asking you, you're destroying your soul. This is a delicate being I gave to you, your responsibility was to safeguard her, nourish her, protect her. Should be a fragrance for you, should be the coolness of your salah, because that powered soul when it prays, it's praying in Allah's Divinely presence, because the body was Islam, the soul is iman, the purified soul maqam al-ihsan. And maqam al-ihsan is that all your ibadah as if you see Allah. There are awliyaullah who see what Allah want them to see, ahlul basira. They're not blind leading blind people, their heart is open. As a result Allah shows them, and all their worshipness is as if they see Allah from whatever Allah want to show them. And if you didn't reach there, at least know that Allah is watching you. So means the successful marriage of dunya requires the successful marriage of your soul first. So means this way of tazkiyah, this way of marifah is that we perfect ourselves, perfect our character. If you are a fragrance and person of reaching perfection, you begin to understand that physical marriage, its importance. And how am I going to safeguard now my physical marriage? If I'm an oppressor to myself, I will oppress everything around me. Doesn't mean there's no struggles, life is every moment a struggle. Prophet said, Ya Rabbi, don't leave me to my nafs for a blink of an eye. You don't ever reach anything until you get into the grave. This battle is continuous, this struggle is continuous, and not until we enter the grave then something else begins to open. So it means the one who is perfecting and trying to work upon themselves, they begin to understand and they begin to perfect the marriage of their physicality. That, Ya Rabbi, as I'm safeguarding my soul, I'm responsible for the soul and physical person that I'm married to. My responsibility to safeguard them, take care of them, nurture them, treat them with respect and with honour and with dignity, and their responsibility to uphold your honour and your dignity. So tariqah comes and tells women, never talk about your husband to anyone. Tariq al-adab, and you became, Prophet became angry with you. Don't talk to anyone about your husband. Don't go from left person, right person, this guy, he's a crappy guy, he's like this, he's like that. The angels will curse you. Don't talk. What you don't like, don't talk, because now you're being pulled into dishonouring and your half of the contract will be in trouble. Now if the person is dishonourable and the person is bad, that's Allah's hand upon them, but shaitan trying to pull you also into something bad. Rabi al-Adawiyya, female awliya, how much she took difficulty and stay quiet, stay quiet. So even the adab they come to teach. So then this life you safeguard the rights The woman safeguards the rights and the honour of her husband, and the husband's responsibility to take care and nourish and protect. Then the reality of the paradise, that reality in which Allah tahlamun, and that reality in which you don't know, in which Hollywood comes to tell you that you're a soulmate. Oh, I have this person that's going to be my soulmate, so I marry them and you're going to be my soulmate. No, you're incorrect, you're not going to be my soulmate. They came to Prophet and asked, Ya Sayyidi Ya Rasul Kareem, I married somebody and I loved him so much and he died in battle. And then I married somebody else and then he died from a sickness, life was hard. Then I married somebody else, Ya Sayyidi Ya Rasul Kareem, I'm married. What will be my case? Is this something we're like all forced to be somewhere where we don't want to be? And Prophet's rahmah and Allah's describing Allah's rahmah, you'll be free. Allah will ask you, who did you love? Because hadith of Prophet, how Prophet brings his hadith to clarify issues of Allah. Allah asks you, when you're raised, who did you love? The first one whom you loved, and through marriage or war or conflict you had to marry different people. Allah will ask, who is it that you love? And you'll be with whom you love. That's why we started with, be careful who you love. People are so free to give their heart out and you end up with them for eternity. And those whom are in difficulty, Allah will ask them, you be with whom you love. The greatest, that's why then awliyaullah come into our lives and says, we are going to clarify your love, not for him, not for her, your love for Sayyidina Muhammad. He's never going to let you down. Men and women, you're going to let each other down like you can't imagine. Some will say, I would never want to be raised with that person. And they think they're tormented, they're taught back home, you're there forever. And they've been put into that at a young age and forced. No, no, this is not the hadith of Prophet. They'll ask, Allah will ask, who is it that you love? And that's why awliyaullah come, and the greatness of what they're teaching. When you say a wali, we went to the marriage, he's a wali and a wakeel for your soul. Your soul that's in paradise, it wants to be married, it wants to reach towards its zawj, its reality. And you're about to enter the wrong marriage, you're about to love the wrong things from this dunya. When Allah assigned for you a wali and awliya, is like the marriage we went to. He's your wakeel, immediately he's guarding your soul and he has to give the permission. So when your love is wrong and your love is incorrect to what Allah wants, He says, are you giving permission? The wakeel says, no. Are you giving permission? He says, no. And then the testing comes down to earth to slap this way, slap that way, slap this way, slap that way, to put the person back onto the path in which Allah wants. You're about to permanently lock your soul into something you can't imagine. So Allah's amazing rahmah is that a wakeel and a wali is not something small, not something you deny in this dunya, but He's safeguarding that reality. Because the wakeel has to give permission. We went to a wedding this weekend and they say, you be the wakeel. Go ask, are you giving permission that such and such wants to come to marry you? That wali in that presence says, no, we're not giving permission. We speak on the behalf of the soul that's behind us by ati'ullah, ati' Rasul, wa ulul amri minkum. They've been given a permission and izzatullah, izzat Rasul wa izzat al-mu'mineen, izzah from Allah answer on their behalf. You're the wakeel. These souls have been partitioned to you, you are the wakeel for that soul. And they're not allowing that love to begin to manifest upon that soul. And that's the soul of the soulmate, that you have your reality of your soul always in Divinely Presence. If you perfect the love of this physicality and it loves whom Allah loves and loves Sayyidina Muhammad, Then why we celebrate the Urs Mubarak, right? Awliyaullah, big celebration. Why? They achieved. They made the perfection of their love in this dunya perfect the way Allah wants it. The anfusihim, the one inside of them, perfectly in love with Sayyidina Muhammad. Their urs is their arusi, their urs is their marriage. That they're free from the physicality and they be reunited with that which they spent all their time loving, and their soul goes back into that ocean of love. There's no physicality, there's no sex involved in this. This is an ocean of light that goes back into that ocean and back to where it came. And we said many times before, like drops of water. You put the drop of water, drop of water, drop of water, in the end if I put 10,000 drops, it's but one ocean of water. Means malakut is singularity. And what they're teaching, the perfection of that love, Ursu Mubarak, their soul goes deep into the reality, into the haqqaiq and into the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad, and that's why everything around them is a celebration. All of the heavens is celebrating that one from earth reached Allah's true love, and now he's going to be reunited with his real love and his real Zawj. Back to his origin, back to his reality. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifoon wa salaamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen bi hurmati Muhammad al Mustafa wa bi sirri Surat al Fatiha.
سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي سيدنا النبي